It all stirs a feeling to walk the trail again unto the far horizon where I have never been. It's all out there, it calls to me, land that I may never set my eyes on. But I know it's there, wild and free on that distant far horizon.
We're out hiking a section of the North Country Trail along the Lone Tree Wildlife Management Area here. It's August 9th. It's getting on toward evening, and we're hiking along the south shore of the Cheyenne Lake, which is a lake along the Cheyenne Lake National Wildlife Refuge, and we just have a beautiful evening here in North Dakota. We're going to have a beautiful sunset. We get to see various waterfowl, various shorebirds, various grassland birds, and it's just one of those rare events here in North Dakota where we have so very little wind. It's just almost eerily quiet. You can hear all the insects and all the birds, and it's just a gorgeous night to be out here.
I climbed this hike across most of the Chippewa, and at that point I was just interested in the trail, and I bought a pair of boots for the hike. And on the way home from Walker, the North Country Trail crosses Highway 371. There's a little picnic area, so I stopped there and put on my new boots and walked on the trail for maybe 100 or 200 yards. And as I was walking along, I was just overcome by the feeling that this is what I want to do. I want to devote some of my personal time to this trail. It's gorgeous. And much as you hear preachers say that God spoke to them, and I guess that's what happened to me.
So, did you know that this was here when you put the trail through this segment?
No, this was more of an accident more than anything else. It was primarily a discovery while building the trail when Lee Fairbanks and me basically, when we were getting this section in, he kind of nosed the top of it, and I walked up and said, "Hey, it's a furnace!" Yeah! So, one of those accidental things along the trails.
4,600-mile North Country National Scenic Trail is one of America's great secrets. Hello, my name is Ron Strickland. In the summer of 2011, I traveled from the Vermont border across New York State, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota, seeking out the best parts of this trail for you. My goal was to write a guidebook that would make the trail's rivers, mountains, prairies, and lakes accessible to everyone. In 2013, the North Country Trail Association and University of Michigan Press published The North Country Trail, the best walks, hikes, and backpacking trips on America's longest national scenic trail. This guidebook provides a lot of great maps, photos, and history. But the best thing about it are 40-day hikes along the entire length of the trail that show its astonishing variety. These hikes vary in length from short and fun to longer and more challenging. If I were to sum up my feelings about them, I would say that they all are characterized by the fact that they made me desire to head toward that horizon, to see what was around the next bend. And I think you will feel the same way. There is just something so alluring about this trail, and about its intriguing names and wildlife and vividly changing seasons. Built of earth and stone, the North Country Trail seems like an ancient fixture of the landscape. And in fact, most people don't realize that long-distance trails don't just sort of grow out of the earth by themselves. But in fact, as I know, as somebody who developed from scratch the 1,200-mile the Pacific Northwest Trail between the Continental Divide and the Pacific Ocean. I, more than most people, realize that such trails need armies of volunteers to be built. And in 2011, I had the privilege and honor to visit many such volunteers all along the entire length of the North Country Trail. And I was taken into their homes, fed, and sent down the trail to the next chapter. This is one of the most charming and lovely things I ever did in my whole life, and I'm so looking forward to meeting those people again. I like to think that our Guidebook's 2013 edition is only the first of many to come. And I hope that you will help to improve the next edition after this one. And personally, I'm most looking forward to the day when one of our future editions includes Vermont, because we want to extend the North Country Trail across Vermont to the Appalachian Trail, and also Montana, because we want to extend the North Country Trail across Montana to the Continental Divide Trail. So someday when you are hiking a part of the North Country Trail, think about that it's actually part of a bigger project, a transcontinental super trail from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean that we call the sea-to-sea route. That's one of the most exciting things about the developing future of the North Country Trail. And I want to help you enjoy this guidebook by ending this video with a few pictures and many interviews that I took in the summer of 2011 of people and places along the whole trail. So if you see somebody or a place that you know, please call out that name. And now I'd like to say goodbye, and I hope to see you someday out on the North Country Trail.
Well, about 3 years ago, the beavers who had built a dam here using our bridge as foundation had basically destroyed the bridge, and this was all backed up with water. 3 years ago, we came in here and rebuilt the bridge, and it was quite a project for a day. We had probably 30 people here, and we brought in some trusses, 3 of them, and built this span right here. And so far, it seems to be holding up, which is a good thing. I think maybe the beavers migrated somewhere else. Doesn't look like we're having trouble with them here anymore.
They went into limbo.
I think they went to O'Brien Pond.
Okay.
In 2005, a lot of these trees came down all at once. There's new ones added on, but they were all cut by hand with either crosscut saw, bow saw, or axe. We can't use any chainsaws in this area, and we can't use a brush mower, so this whole area is actually hand brushed with a weed whip. So very great for keeping yourself in shape, but a little time consuming sometimes.
Through the woods here, and the grass was almost armpit high. We couldn't turn around and go back. The car was at the other end of the trail, and we kept going. Today we've got it much better. The trail's maintained a lot finer, but you got to persevere and sometimes and find your own trail.
We were hiking in Wisconsin one time, and we came to the end of the trail. At least that's what the little sign said, that this is the official end of the designated trail, but you could tell that somebody had built trail because there was a boardwalk that we had to follow, but the grass was like probably up to my shoulders on, you know, even through the wood boards on the trail. So we found our way through that and figured it had to be a trail because these boards got here somehow, but it wasn't designated trail yet. And we got to the edge of the woods and we hit our car alarm, and we were close enough that the alarm went off. That's how we found the car.
I met down at the bottom of the hill, about 500 yards away, after moving rocks off of a large pile. When I stopped removing rocks, the Indian departed. Later that week, approximately this location, I had a large deadfall laying across the intended trail. So I cut it once at the trail line, removed the lower portion below the trail, and then attempted to move the upper section with a large root ball attached. The tree broke loose, pinning me to the ground. I had the portion of the tree against my neck and my one hand planted firmly to the ground by the root ball. After saying prayers for 10 or 15 minutes, somehow the tree released me from its hold, and I went on my merry way. And wonder this day if it was the prayers that I said or the Indian that came to my rescue. Either way, I'm happy for whatever.
Well, this area is just, as you can see along the sides of the trail, we had to carve this trail out of this brush, and it was just a miserable area to work in, and it was one of those areas where you only accomplish a few feet a day to get through it.
And what did Harlan say about that?
Oh, Harlan was, he was trying to rake in here, and he was saying it's slow going. Well, I think this section, if I remember right, we probably built this in about 2005 or 2006.
It looks pretty rough now, but the park is in charge of fixing this up, right?
Right, yes. They'll get in here and do some trimming. This has been a difficult year because of we've had a lot of moisture and the vegetation has grown more prolifically than normal.
Thank you.
Is GM triflorum, or prairie smoke. It is listed as state threatened in the state of Michigan. However, the rules are the same as though it were an endangered plant. As a friend from Nature Conservancy says, it is so rare it is often not even put in wildflower books, except in this small corner of Nuevo County where it seems to grow like a weed.
And how can you identify it when the wind is blowing?
When it's in seed, it will go from having a small pink pod to having long gray whiskers, which is this other man's name, old man's whiskers, or prairie smoke, because when the wind blows through a patch of it, it is like smoke going across the prairie.
When the mountains bloom with lupin, the streams are running high. Out down in the meadow, great blues across the sky. It all stirs a feeling to walk the trail again unto the far horizon where I have never been. It's all out there, it calls to me, land that I may never set my eyes on. But I know it's there, wild and free on that distant far horizon. When the clouds build up like castles, the wind is singing true. Fire up on the mountain, storms are brewing too. It all makes me thankful of this earth I am a part. I can feel it in my bones, know it in my heart. It's all out there, it calls to me, land that I may never set my eyes on. But I know it's there, wild and free on the distant far horizon. Distant paths are calling, lead me ever on. I guess it's just my nature to be a rambling one. As long as there are wildlands, that's where I wanna be, walking softly in the shadows of the last of the big old trees. Oh, there's a far horizon calling, it's someplace I'll never go, but it's pristine and clean and wild, and that's all I have to know. It's all out there, it calls to me, land that I may never set my eyes on. But I know it's there, wild and free on the distant far. Distant far, distant far.